listening to WCOM FM 103.5, broadcasting live from Carrboro, North Carolina, and streaming worldwide at WCOMFM.org. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Martini Mondays, shaking it up with Ruby Martini and Magnolia Steel. Hey, everybody. Ruby Martini here. Thank you so much for joining us here on WCOM. Magnolia Steel is traveling to Carolina South as we speak. She's been called away for a day job workshop for several days, and we wish her safe travels, staying awake during her surely interesting training, and returning to us safely. That being said, you guys get me flying solo this evening, and we'll soon be joined by Meleah Gabhart. I said your name wrong. Gabhart, who creates beautiful sculptural wood mosaics. I've known you forever and spit your name out wrong after all these years. All right. First, we want to honor our underwriters. Without our underwriters, of course, we would not be here. Huge thank yous to Double Martini Productions, your local nonprofit performing arts collaborative, home of the Bottom Line Burlesque and Comedy Troupe, as well as Miss Ruby's Vaudeville Revival and Follies Review. Their monthly fundraiser is coming up. An afternoon of vaudeville art is Saturday, March 14th. This event invites local artists to a drawing event featuring live models in vaudeville, pin-up, and burlesque costuming, as well as upbeat daily fashions. These events are every second Saturday of the month, held at Snow Approach Foundation, located at 129 East King Street in downtown Hillsboro. That event opens up at 10:30 a.m. Their first drawing segment is at 11, and the event wraps by 1:30. Artists of all skill levels are invited to draw. Just bring your drawing supplies. There is plenty of room for easels. Donations of $15 to $25 are requested. And for more information and to register, go to doublemartini.org, then select Art Drawing Events. Additionally, Cat Moves Traveling Studio, delivering coaching and training for dance and fitness to you at your location at your convenience. Join Cat Moves Studio at Snow Approach Foundation in Hillsboro every Tuesday for free line dancing from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. And again, that is at 129 East King Street in Hillsboro. Find out more at catmoves.me. That's cat with a K, catmoves.me. And Perfect Timing Celebrations, providing personalized, traditional, and contemporary officiant services with budget-friendly rates to help keep your wedding stress-free. Find them on Facebook. Search Perfect Timing Celebrations. All of our underwriters are linked on our Facebook page, and you can find that by searching at WCOMRuby, and you can become an underwriter of our broadcast. Reach out to us via email, WCOMRuby@gmail.com. So here's a little tease about today's episode. Today, we welcome Meleah Gabhart, who creates beautiful wood with a beautiful art with a wood medium. And we're going to bring her on board in just a few minutes. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. This is our 8th episode of Martini Mondays, shaking it up with Ruby Martini and Magnolia Steel. Our audio stage is a new adventure for us, and we are very excited to be here. And here we go. So we begin each episode with Back in Time Burlesque, where we take a moment to reflect on vintage burlesque and the rich history it offers. Each segment of Back in Time Burlesque features a dancer or performer from the vintage era of burlesque. Some weeks we may offer a contemporary performer, as the revival of burlesque in recent years has developed thousands of modern troupes and performers. Now today, we are going to honor Betty Howard. She was also known as Betty Blue Eyes, but she preferred to refer to herself as the girl who has everything. And by everything, Betty Blue Eyes meant boobs. 40 inches worth. She was a star in the 1940s, but really hit her stride during the 1950s, dancing all over the United States, but her favorite clubs were in Cuba. Her routine that she dubbed Bumps to the Bongo thrilled audiences in Havana. Her overt sexuality was warmly accepted in the city that wildly supported American strippers, especially Betty Howard with her 40, 25, 37 curvy figure. Havana's reaction to American strippers like Betty Howard would come as no surprise to Harold Minsky. Minsky, who would know, if anyone does, once pegged the girl who has everything as one of the top 10 exotics in the business. A quick search on YouTube will find numerous clips of Betty Howard enticing her audiences, as she was one of the few dancers who actually disrobed quickly so audiences could enjoy her undressed body longer than they could admire her costumes. There's not a lot of bio information about Betty Howard, but we are very thankful to have some online puzzle pieces, and I hope this look back in time will encourage you to learn more about American burlesque and Betty Howard. And with that, we're going to move into our next weekly segment. After that, we're going to introduce our guest. We always broadcast our show with positivity, gratitude, and intention. And Magnolia is traveling, so instead of her oracle cards this week, we are going to ask our guest to select an intention card. And so I've given the deck to Meleah for her to select a card. And once she does that, we'll have her read and let us know what the card says.
Okay, the card says that you need to put the music back into your life.
Oh, that is so appropriate. That is perfect.
It took me literally.
Oh, my gosh. We had a little snafu getting our background music to go into the proper line into our soundboard. So we kind of finagled it, and that's a perfect card. That is absolutely excellent.
I love it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so the next thing that we do is we take a nice deep breath. We do a cleansing breath in and out. And now we are ready to begin. We have titled our topic today, When All the Pieces Fit. All right, listeners, this week we are super excited to welcome Meleah Gabhart. Meleah hails from southern Indiana, has lived at a long list of locations over the years. She is settled in North Carolina and now a resident of Carborough, North Carolina. Meleah has done many things. She is a scientist, a DNA researcher, an event and music venue owner, a creative, an author, a dancer, and an artist whose medium reminds me of a phoenix. As the pieces of raw and sometimes misshapen wood she incorporates into her art rise together to form powerful visionary pieces. Meleah, it is so good to see you again.
Thank you, Ruby. It's so good to see you, too. I love that description of my art.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to use that.
You should. So I think the first thing I want you to do is to share with everyone the name of your business and where our listeners can find you online.
Well, I just call it's Meleah Gabhart Art.
Okay.
So it's my full name followed by art, and that is my website.
Oh, perfect.
So it doesn't get easier than that.
That's right.
MeleahGabhartart.com.
Perfect.
You can find me on Instagram under the same thing.
Oh, well, I like consistency,
right?
So that's very helpful. So leading up to your success in woodworking, and it is a success.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you. Tell us a bit about your prior art focus, your different art mediums that you have. I hate to say played in, but we all play, right? When we're creative, we're playing.
It's playing.
It's a great.
It better be.
It better be. And how did those maybe gently nudge you towards shaping or turning wood into such unique pieces?
So I think it doesn't start out with maybe different types of art, but I noticed something in retrospect.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we have these epiphanies, we see ourselves in the past, like, oh, wow, that's why I did that. Oh, that's why I did that. What I would do even as a kid is I would piece things together. Mm-hmm. And I found myself loving to take something that we had thrown out, and I would be like, ooh, that's not a lamp anymore, but I can make it into this thing.
I just got chills.
And so, like, it got thrown out, but I took it out of the trash pile, and I turned it into something else that was unrecognizable from its original purpose.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's just been an inherent part of your personality that you are a recycler of art
and life experiences, right?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Yes,
you can think of life. I kind of think of life experiences as like all these little pieces that get put together. But maybe when you're going through that experience, you're like, oh, can't wait to get out of this one. And you don't see how it's going to be useful. It's going to be that important piece.
Oh my God, that is so true.
In the mosaic later on.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm a little bit older doing this type of art. I mean, I think artists just get better. They're like wine.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I do. Because you have to have those little nuggets so that you can polish them and bring them to the forefront and make them valuable to you instead of wondering, why is this thing persistent with me?
Yeah.
What is that thing? Oh, I love that. So over the years, I've watched as your focus with woodworking has truly solidified you as a unique and sometimes daring artist. Your nudes, for example, are always powerful and stunning. And by the way, the nipples on those women are like amazing.
Listen, if you're going to show it, you might as well
show it all. That's right.
You know?
So what or who, what was your inspiration to begin the woodworking style? And you've already touched on the putting together of the pieces.
So,
but,
I've always been a lover of art and a maker. Just a maker in general. And I gravitated to tile mosaics. It was easy. I was doing a lot of tiling for the house that I was building. Had a lot of leftover tile. And I started making the countertops into tile mosaics of different scenes. And there came a point where I was like, oh, I really need a cutting board in my... This is funny, because this is all for me. I need a cutting board in my countertop. And I'm just going to incorporate some wood in this tile mosaic. And I never looked back. I didn't touch a piece of tile after that.
Wow.
It turned into tile mosaics, or into wood mosaics.
The wood mosaics. I love that, because that goes back to the necessity and the mother of invention.
Yeah, exactly.
It always works out that way. Even though we may not see it at the moment, we can always look back and be like, that is why that happened.
Yeah, and limitations are the perfect fertile ground for creativity.
Yeah. Oh, you better believe it. And especially if you're a little bullheaded and forward focused, if someone says, I'm not real sure that's going to
that's not going to work. Or, oh, yeah, that's fighting words.
That's like kerosene on a fire. Oh, my gosh.
Well, you know me.
So my next point was, when did you go live with your first piece or pieces of the woodworking mosaics, the wood mosaics?
2015.
Okay.
Was when I went live with my first piece that I was proud of.
Yeah.
That I felt could go live. And it was a nude.
Well, there you go.
You know, although it's wood, translating something into wood is such a representational thing that it's almost like it's not a nude, you know? It's
right. Yes.
It's a representation of a body.
It is a representation of a body, but I will say that there is some exotica in every piece that you do, whether it's a nude or a tree or a fleur.
Yes.
There's something very intrinsic about it. Like it really talks to a body and you get a reaction from it.
I'm glad you feel that.
Which is amazing. So are you currently exhibiting anywhere? Is there a space where people can...
In Eclipse Gallery in Wilmington. Oh, nice. I have some pieces there.
Okay.
Right now, I'm sort of working on a series. Hopefully that it'll be a series of... while I'm also doing commissions, so it's...
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's human faces, like portraits, but I've found that the human face is really difficult, but also just such a challenge to incorporate or to represent with wood.
Yeah.
Because you, for instance, will look at a face and you'll be like, that's not right, that's off. You know, that doesn't work. And, whereas like a tree, I can make it any way I want. It can bend, but with a face, it requires way more precision and a level of expertise that I feel like I'm there, when I'm doing that. And it's so, it feels so good to translate it.
I feel like a lot of your pieces have a softness to them, especially the tree trunks.
Yeah.
With the rounding of each like twined piece that you use. And that probably is going to translate well when you're doing facial work. Just having that softness that you can add in. And
it's the whole thing is like, how do I piece this together? You know, do I piece it with angular pieces? Like a male, maybe I would. A female, I'm going to, depending on her personality, I'm going to use real curvy pieces.
Yeah. I love curvy. That's my language.
It is.
So, do you have any challenges or speed bumps you may have experienced when you, I would say, as you launched this unique lane of creativity? And how did you navigate getting beyond any frustration instead of giving up?
You know, I think art is just an expression of life, you know, and everybody has some art in them, you know, creativity, I should say. Yeah. Maybe not art, but creativity. And I think that how you expressing yourself is the easy part. Feeling like it's worthwhile and that's something that people want maybe is the more difficult part. And then piercing through what society believes to be good art is maybe another hurdle. But I think every single artist starting out from ground zero is going to experience a lot of the difficulties that I have experienced, which is how do you show your work? How do you get it out to the public? How do you make it seen over all the other art and all the other noise?
Right. So talk to me a little bit about the book that you've published.
It's interesting. All the good things that have ever happened to me in art have come when I did not force something. In fact, it's come to me. I never had to open a door. The door was opened.
Oh, I love that.
And I've done my share of forcing, so I know that every good thing. And so I was actually thinking about getting off of Instagram because I was like, I've never sold a piece on Instagram. It takes a lot of my time, you know. Is it worth it? And then I get a message from Fox Chapel Publishing, the CEO, and he says, hey, I noticed your art,
oh, wow.
and I'd like to have a conversation with you. So I would message, back. So as it turns out, he was like, we're interested in you writing a book for us.
I love that.
About your art, because we feel like it could be a great book for people to follow, and we'd like to get your art out there. Oh my God.
That is incredible. What was the, I guess, from that phone call to publishing, what was your timeline? What did that look like?
I think I'm kind of my husband says I move really fast. I'm a fast person. Mm-hmm. I have enough experiences in my current lifetime to last 3. Yeah. So things happen. I do things quickly. But it was about 10 months.
That is quick.
Yeah, it's quick. So, I met with the CEO. I met with the editors, and then they just basically said, here's what we want you to do. Good luck.
Wow. But you did it.
But I did it.
In 10 months.
Yeah, and they had certain deadlines. We want this by this time, this by this time.
Wow.
And you just do it,
That is fantastic.
You just do it.
I think that I know that when I have friends who publish, it puts a little fire under my ass for a little while, because I feel like I've got books in me.
Oh, yeah.
And
sure you do.
And then I just get lazy. But then I get re-inspired, and then I get lazy. And so one of these days, when
the time is right, you won't be able to not do it.
I love hearing that, because I just feel like it's never going to happen.
It will.
Oh,
but, then again, it does take a daily discipline, doesn't it?
Yes. And I definitely, at this point in my life, I'm having difficulty with any kind of discipline. So, I'm here every Monday. That's as good as I'm doing.
That's fantastic. And, I think sometimes with disciplines, and I'm going to say this because it refers to my art, instead of just like saying, I'm going to write this book, you can say, I'm going to just get a pencil in my hand and a blank piece of paper, and I'm just going to write thoughts.
Yeah. I do keep a running document, a Word document, every day, and I sit down and do the random things. And you know how on Facebook your memories pop up? Yeah. Things that are significant with those, I will translate them onto that page with the proper date on them.
I love that.
So, I've been kind of doing this for a good number of years. When my dad passed away in 2007, I did a lot of writing then for my own personal therapy. And that sort of pointed me back to something I've always loved to do, which is to just write. So, it's just one of those things, and I admire so much that you got it done. So I'm going to have to put that in my pocket, and I'm going to pull Meleah out of my pocket, and she's going to say, write the damn book, Ruby.
Well, I have to say that just having the organization put in front of me, them saying, we need this kind of chapter, and we need this one, and that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was venturing into something I've never done before.
Right.
Writing a book. Come on, So having a little bit of a loose structure is so helpful.
Very good tip.
But I'll tell you what, whenever I walk into my shop and someone's commissioned me to do whatever it is, there is an energy, we call this in science the energy of activation. So in a system, you put two things together, they don't normally react. They need energy in the system, introduced in the system, so they will react. And that energy activation can be pretty high sometimes. It's like you walk in and you're like, I don't know where to begin. And even just doing the first thing, it's like, it's difficult. It's like pulling teeth,
It's overwhelming.
So I'll just go in and clean my shop.
Yeah, yes.
Just to be there and be like, I'll start the piece tomorrow.
In a clean shop.
Or I'm going to adjust my equipment, and just tinker.
Yeah.
And then finally, I'll get around to it.
Right, and those round two-its that we've always wanted to collect. Yes. When they happen, they happen.
They do happen.
So I wanted to also, so I titled this Throwing Back a Year or Two, Ha Ha. You've said that as a child, you grew up academically feral. You dropped out of high school and then attended UNC Chapel Hill and received your master's in biochemistry. I understand that your work had a focus on DNA repair. And do you feel that those years spent in the sciences elevated your love of art, form, and texture? And did it encourage what many might consider coloring outside the lines?
Wow, you've just opened a can of worms, because the answer I'm going to give you is not the one you're expecting. In short form, the answer is that what drove me to science is the same thing that drives me to art, and that is to make the unseen seen.
That's powerful there.
Yeah. And often in science, it takes a level of thinking about something that doesn't exist yet, and then going in to see if it exists. And I love that part of it.
Yeah.
Loved it. But I'll tell you what it did reveal. And that's why I came away with a master's. I was in a PhD only program, biochemistry, biophysics. I studied under the great Aziz Sanchar.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Won the Nobel Prize.
That had to be pretty amazing.
He is an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And you know, like all smart, amazing people, he didn't accept mediocrity. So that was good for me.
Yeah.
But I discovered, and actually I have a great moment with him. He came and stood behind my back and over my shoulder, and he says, "Meleah, you're like me," he says, which was the only way I'm like him. He says, "You suck at the bench. You suck at doing science at the bench, but you enjoy the thinking of it." And that is exactly true. I am not good at the bench, and so that translates into measuring. That's why I'm not a carpenter. I cannot make furniture.
Yeah.
I have to be given total freedom. I don't want to measure. I don't want to have to do things exactly like the book tells me.
Yeah.
I have to do it completely outside of that.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate that answer, because there is I call it free-range chicken, when you're able to just kind of do what you want to do, right? And no one's breathing down your neck over it, and you just have a way to. And I think there's a little bit of like a control part of that. I know in my world, I love doing things my way, and so I'll take charge so that I know that I can make them happen my way. Yeah. And it sounds like perhaps that might be some of the energy that enters your workshop.
I know, I seem really sweet, Ruby.
Right.
Actually, I'm a control freak.
Yeah, a control freak. I hear you. I can relate. I totally get it.
Yeah, and also I think, though, that I don't mind parameters. So it's not like, do you know what I'm saying? If someone tells me I can only use yellow and green, I'm going to find a way to make a fucking amazing yellow and green
That's
thing.
exactly right. Yes. Yep.
So,
yep, I totally get that. And there is something to be said about having those guidelines, those bullet points that you have to kind of meet those, and then maybe you can just kind of squiggle in between them, because that's your free-range chicken while you're building that fence. So
100%, because sometimes the scariest thing in the world is someone says, "Sky's the limit. Anything's available." I'm like,
Yeah, right. It's overwhelming. So I did listen to your presentation at the Monty Storytelling event in 2016. And in your youth, you had, shall we say, adventures, traveling primarily in unconventional ways.
Yes.
And would you like to share any of those adventures with us? And it's okay to say no, Ruby.
Oh, I'm an open book.
So tell us about your...
Well, I was raised by very unconventional parents. Maybe eccentric would be a better word. In a lot of different ways, they were eccentric. And my dad is, I would say, a conspiracy theorist. Sorry, Dad. But that's what we call it. And I know it's true because I was with it for 20-some years. And for that reason, you know, anything system, that's why I quit school. I didn't go to much of school because the system is bad.
Right.
Which, you know, I have to agree in some levels. That's true.
Yeah.
But it's not all bad.
Not all bad.
No, but
as a child, it can be overwhelming to think that all those conspiracies are out there.
Yeah, I actually kind of embraced it because I loved being different.
Yeah.
I love and it's kind of like we know something you don't know. We've got a leg up. We got things figured out, and he didn't. It wasn't anti-everything system, but a good bit of it. So I spent a lot of my childhood with my 4 brothers and sisters, doing things that typical families don't do. Mom and Dad decided they needed to save children, I guess, so they became house parents at a what would you call it? A children's home. That was tough. That was an adventure. There were 16 kids in the house, and all coming from really bad environments or unusual environments.
So your parents didn't go to a facility to volunteer. They brought the children home.
No, it was actually a facility where I don't think it exists anymore, this type of setup, but they would go and we would live in a home that was provided with all the children in it.
Okay. Yeah.
So that lasted, about a year and a half. I knew it would come to an end because I knew the pattern,
Yeah.
And then we bought a farm in Arkansas on top of a mountain, and just sort of because my dad had exposed a lot of abuse that was going on in that place, and he felt like people were after him for exposing it, so namely the mafia.
Yeah.
So we moved to Arkansas on top of a mountain, and we were self-sufficient. We had a huge gas tank up there. We never went to get gas anywhere because ours was full, and we made rations. We did dehydrated food. I mean, listen, if there's a zombie apocalypse, you want me on your team.
I'm knocking on your door.
I am ready. I know how to do it all. So, that happened for a while.
You guys were off-grid before off-grid was cool.
Yeah. And prior to that, even prior to the children's home, we lived in a bus for maybe a year and a half, just a renovated school bus.
Yeah.
Before that was cool.
Yeah.
So
you're so edgy.
Yeah, I know, right? It's hard being the first.
Right. Oh, if you could just, bottle that somehow.
Seriously, yeah. I'm like letting it all go in my art. Okay.
But you have an outlet, so that's important.
That's
because
right.
without that, it would probably be, I don't know. You remember Bill the cat from?
Yeah. Seriously.
So the next point that I have, I just wanted to comment that I believe that you have grown from your old soul youth into the wildly life-filled, exhilarating woman you knew you would become. And has this growth allowed you to find peace with the bumpy portions of your childhood?
I actually think that the bumpy portions of my childhood, and I think what you're referring to is we were members of a cult for a long time, and women were second-class citizens in that cult, and so I had a lot of, and then yet my dad would want me to do things that would excel, and he wanted me to be smart and all these things, and yet I got this very much a double message because he also, but I believe it's those bumps that have made me this wild, crazy, no rules, because I've seen the other side.
Yeah.
And I know how that feels. And it's not only just that. It's like I have this bird's eye view now. And it's like I realize that even in those bumpy, that really messy parts of childhood, that was just an experience that was providing the color for me now.
Yes.
So I get to be colorful now.
Yes. Yeah. And again, it harkens back to the earlier part of our conversation with those little pieces and nuggets that come together, and they maybe are rude when we're first learning about them, or we don't understand them. And then suddenly everything pieces together, and then you can look back on it and say, now I get it.
Yeah, and you get to understand. It provides so much depth. You get to understand people that maybe you wouldn't have understood.
Yeah.
And also you get to have an experience now where I'm like, I've done it's been way worse than that. This is nothing. I can get through this,
Yeah.
Eat.
Well, it gives you some moxie to really,
some moxie,
to just kind of push through stuff and be like,
Yeah.
to hell with you. I know what I'm
Exactly.
capable of.
Yeah.
And I know how to wear my power. That's super important.
Yeah.
Because many times women will have a little adversity growing up, teenage, young woman, whatever the adversity is, and not understand how to take the nugget from that and turn it into power.
Good point, Ruby. Yeah, really good point. And I think that's completely valid too. I've just had the opportunity and maybe the personality or something, I don't know. Like, thank you.
Exactly.
I appreciate that. Whatever allowed me to really find the gold in all those.
Yeah. It's important, super important. Now, I have a super off topic.
Cool.
Pasteurized pigs. Is that something that is still in your life?
Pasteurized pigs.
Did you have were you raising pigs?
I
at
was
some
raising,
point?
oh my gosh. Where did you?
I can't even remember where I dug this up from, but I did my research.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to find a Wikipedia page about you so I could.
Listen, it's really hard for someone
I'm
like
going to create one.
Okay, perfect. I find it really hard to work a 9 to 5, so I will basically do anything to not go to a cubicle.
Yes, sister.
And not know. To people who can.
Yeah,
more power to them. I appreciate that
totally
because we need people. But so one of those things was raising. Happen to have the land, and I thought that would be so super cool to raise these pigs. And of course, they were for eating. They were not for petting, but we did pet them a lot. But I just wanted to see what's the best version of a pig I could raise. One that had a happy life, one that ate the best of the best. I don't know if you or the listeners remember Mapleview Farms.
Yes.
The dairy that no longer exists.
Yes.
I would go get their spoiled milk and half gallon by half gallon, because they didn't sell gallons, I would dump it into my big, huge farm tank. I mean, this would take a day. And it was stinky. It was gross.
Yes.
It was disgusting. And I'd have to take a stick and mix up all the curds so it would actually even go through the hole. And I would do that, I don't know, for maybe 5 hours. And I would haul that tank back and feed my pigs this milk, and probably a quarter of it was chocolate milk.
Oh my God, they had the best chocolate milk.
Listen, this
whole fat chocolate milk is just to roll over for.
Especially Mapleviews. Everything's all natural. These pigs I call it milk comas, because they would literally fall down in their tracks and just fall asleep.
Pray God they weren't lactose intolerant.
Not that we would have ever known.
They were all like, Mom, stop feeding me that stuff. Can't you see it's making me faint?
It's making me fat.
Right. Wow. So that was a smart partnership to partner with Mapleview, because it certainly helped you to elevate your standard for your sweet piggies. And it helped them to move product.
It did.
Otherwise, what were they going to do?
Well, their employees would have had to empty those and would have taken hours of their time, so I did it for them. It was all free. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that was fun. How long did that venture?
A couple of years, maybe 2.5. Yeah, and I actually sold my pork to the Lantern here in Chapel Hill.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
so you actually brought it to fruition.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't just raise the pigs and then say, I'm done.
I had people addicted to my sausage.
Nice.
Okay, my pig sausage, let me clarify.
Yeah, I should clarify.
But the Lantern, the reason I mentioned Lantern is because they have such a standard for their pork. And I'm glad, but like the butcher in the kitchen, or the chef, he would look at, they wouldn't just buy it, they would look at every piece of it and decide whether it passed. And
that's amazing.
And it always passed, and I was like, yes.
That is, okay, so there's a standard that a lot of people would not know about, right?
Exactly.
And so many of our chefs and restaurateurs have these standards that the average citizen has no clue
about
what they're doing. Okay, well, that was fun. So, nextly, I do want to mention this because I'm just in full disclosure, dear listeners. I've known Meleah for a good number of years. Back when she used to have a great little place in West Hillsboro called the Depot, a place that I have to tell you, everyone who went there still misses it. And every time I go in to pause at the corner, I just feel the vibe.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I really wanted to share is that without your generous donation of space for our rehearsals, I probably would not have so easily been ready to create the Bottom Line Burlesque and Comedy Troupe. Having rehearsal space is so important, and having rehearsal space that is easy.
Yeah.
Like it was just easy, and the parking was great.
Right.
You know,
And whoever happened to be there when you were rehearsing got to watch.
they got to watch, and it was a ton of fun. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I will always be grateful to you for that, because I feel like that you were one of the first people that I talked to about the burlesque troupe, because I was teaching dance at the Depot.
You were.
I knew it was a great space, and we had a good relationship. And I thought, I think if anyone will understand this, Meleah will be like, bring it. And you did.
Like, edgier the better.
You did. But we did our very first performance at an open mic at the Depot. We did one song. We did we did a chair dance of Mein Herr. We did not do the Fosse, because no one can replicate Fosse. Let me just put that caveat out there ASAP. But we did a fun little chair dance, and we had a live singer. We didn't do it to, canned music.
Right.
And we had live musicians. And it was it was like such a memorable event, such a good time.
People loved it too.
Our very first show was in December of that year, and that was our very first fundraiser for the UNC Center of Excellence for Eating Disorders, who we aligned with the entire time that we've been active. So that we didn't even charge an admission for that show.
I know.
It was free.
Okay.
And we raised, I want to say it was $2,100.
Oh, that's so cool.
And that's all on raffle ticket sales.
That was at the Depot, wasn't it?
At the Depot.
Yeah.
Yep. Showing up. I wish I had more pictures of it. So.
I know. Those were good times.
Oh,
good times.
Such good times. So I would love for you just to kind of share with us kind of where you are. I love your story about your dance lessons, and I've stalked your pages all the time to watch your growth with your dancing. I was talking to Anna last week about Latin dancing, and the way I explained to her when I was training to teach, there was not a large Latin community in the area, and there was not anything called salsa dancing in the area. I'm a ballroom dance instructor with Dance Masters of America, mambo, merengue, samba, cha-cha, right? And so I tell my students, the way you chop up like the onions and the tomatoes and the peppers, and that's how you make your salsa. You chop up the merengue and the mambo and the samba and the cha-cha. You chop it all up together and you make some salsa out of it.
I love that.
And then they get it, because when people say to me, do you teach salsa? I have to explain the pieces that I can teach, but no, I don't. I don't teach salsa.
Yes, but you teach some rhythms that are familiar to salsa.
The very, very old school basics that were all part of that syllabus.
Yeah.
When I did my national
love that.
Certification.
Yeah, I love that. You have a deep understanding of dance and rhythm.
Yeah, thank you. So tell me about your experience stepping into dance. I understand from the things that I've read that you really didn't have much of a dance background when you began.
No. Like a lot of religions, and especially cultish religions, dance is just too happy, It's too free, and it involves the body, which tends to be sort of off limits for those types of movements.
Yeah.
Too sensual,
Yes.
And it is sensual,
Of
it's
course.
the beauty of it.
Yes.
But I had no experience moving my body and having that freedom. And then in 2014, 2015, I think, when I kind of had my second, this is another radio show.
Oh, goody. We'll have you back.
I had my second kind of like, what would you call it? Huge transition in life. Mm-hmm. I left a husband, and I left kind of all the restrictions that I had placed on myself in the past that were still there, mm-hmm. and carried through. And part of that journey was doing dance, going to a salsa. And the way it started, funny enough, is that a friend of mine in Hillsborough, she was like, I bought these 5 salsa lessons and I don't want to go alone. Would you go with me? And I was like, sure. I think she stopped going on the 4th lesson.
Oh, wow. And you just never looked back.
I've never looked back.
I love it, love it, love it.
It was, before that, I would go to, like maybe I traveled to Latin America once in a while, and I would hear salsa, and it just sounded like a cacophony to me. Mm. Isn't that weird? Because now it is like part of my soul.
Yeah. I think what happens a lot of times, it's hard to like de-strand it at all, but I think for a lot of people, hearing the variations of percussion on different depths and levels makes it difficult to right out of the gate understand what's where. Yes. And all of the half beats and the half counts and the half notes make
the
it
layers.
More, yes,
whether everybody's not complex. On the same timing, it sounds like.
Yes,
it's complex, but it's not complicated.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, and once you get through that percussion barriers, what I refer to it as, mm-hmm. and be able to kind of like get into your head just the straight counts and leave the ands out, then you start to understand the half beats that go in there.
And I think when you dance to it, Ruby, you start to understand it with your body.
And the best part are the blank spaces where I just got cold chills. I just got cold chills. Those slow beats where you're doing one movement for 2 counts and you just essentially freeze frame. Those are the sexiest damn moves on God's green earth.
That is the sensuality of salsa.
It's so beautiful.
My husband would love being here listening to you say that.
We'll get a recording to him. Yes. So tell me how you guys connected.
Well, it was through salsa. It was through dance.
I love it.
And I remember being at a dance, and then there was Motorco was right beside it. Yes. It was at LAC, mm-hmm. and the Motorco was right beside it, so everybody kind of went to Motorco after a dance. Mm-hmm. And I'm up at the bar ordering a beer, and I look over, and he's surrounded by because he's a dance instructor, he's surrounded by his entourage of young, beautiful women. His harem. And he's, taller. And I just remember looking at him right in his eyes across that whole space. And there was something that happened in that moment. And I was like, whoa. Whoa, okay. And I just did my thing and, got my beer. And I was like, didn't think much more about it, but I remember that moment. And then a couple of months later, he asked me out. Well, after he danced with me, he had to dance with me first.
Of course.
To know whether he wanted to ask me out. It's an energy exchange.
It is.
It is,
It is very true. Yes, that is so true.
You can read so much about a person. So we've never looked back.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, that was in 2018.
Okay.
2017, maybe.
And so you guys have traveled some to South America, and you've gotten into the culture, like you've done deep dives.
Yeah.
And
he's from Dominican Republic.
From Dominican. So tell me, where is your favorite place that you've been, and maybe some of the fun things that you've done?
I would say that the Dominican Republic, you cannot top it for just beauty of ocean, air, fauna, flora. It's just magical. It's a beautiful, raw country.
Yeah.
And the people are raw in the gentlest of ways.
Nice.
They're just authentic and culturally, they know who they are.
So they're not bothered by outside influences so much like we are in America.
No.
Yeah.
And they don't have to hide themselves in their houses. It's a very outreaching country. I love that part of it. But the music is you'll hear a lot of bachata. And Jose grew up dancing bachata, you know, and merengue, of course, being the main one. But bachata is like intrinsic to that country. And I do love bachata, but I am a salsera. So in terms of that, I love Colombia. Any taxi, any Uber, any place you walk into, you are going to hear salsa.
Nice.
The young people are listening to salsa. The old people are listening to salsa.
It's timeless.
It is timeless, yeah. It's beautiful. And Colombia is amazing. And I go to Cali, and it's not very tourist. There's hardly any tourists. It is really
the best, isn't it?
It is the best. Yeah. But it is a truly unique experience. Yeah.
Very nice. So, dear listeners, we weren't able to play any Martini melodies this evening, but I know that you've enjoyed hearing us have our chit-chats and different topics and whatnots. And Meleah, do you have anything that we've not touched on that you would like to add or share? Or
well,
I mean, if we had video, we could get up and dance a little bit.
You and I would. Yeah. No, I think that I just would encourage anyone to make sure that they follow their bliss.
Yes.
Like Joseph Campbell said. Yes. And it's not overused. It is what we're here for, is to follow our bliss.
That was the card last week.
Oh.
Just follow your bliss.
Okay.
I know. It's just so powerful and universal. And yeah, so I think that the energy that each of us owns is super special. And being able to tap into that and know where to put it is even more powerful. To us.
Right. I like that word. I think that your bliss is why you're here. Yeah. And if you don't contribute your bliss, then you're the puzzle piece that got lost under the rug. We need your puzzle piece.
That's right. That is an excellent way for us to wrap. I think that's a good note to end on. So essentially what we are going to do is just kind of wrap things up for this episode. We might be a little bit early because not playing the music kind of bopped our timing a little bit. But hopefully you were able to hear the background blues. We got a little bit clever, we think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
We'll see when we get the playback. So thank you, listeners, for tuning in and supporting us. Thank you, Meleah. I'm so happy you gave us this episode number 8, When All the Pieces Fit.
You're welcome.
And Magnolia, you were missed, and we can't wait to have you back next week. Thank you, WCOM, for welcoming us to this audio stage, and big thanks to our underwriters. If you would like to become an underwriter for our show or for WCOM's general operations, go to WCOMFM.org, hit the Get Involved button and select to become an underwriter. We would love to welcome you on board. All right, all you shakers, join us next week, Monday, the 2nd of March, when we welcome Kimberly McLean-Mann. Kimberly is a contemporary fashion designer who only recently discovered this talent. Join us to learn about her incredibly heartfelt decisions that led her to this path. And until then, all you shakers, keep on shaking, and we'll see you next week.